views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. See them tumbling down, pledging their love to the ground. Lonely but free I'll be found, drifting along with a tumbling tumbleweed. An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. On a ridge he rested as he went along his way. Hi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, those striders in the sky. All day I faced the barren waste without the taste of water. Water. Old Ann and I, our throats burn dry and souls that cry for water. Cool, clear water. Keep a moving and don't you listen to it. The mountains high, down the canyons wide. Let me roam and ride through timber. Ooh, shadows on the trail. Ooh, moon shining through the trees. And a plate. Oh, I'm feeling blue. I'll roll on with you. Happy trails to you till we meet.
Goodbye, good luck, and may the good Lord take a lot to you. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to my show, Patty's Page TV show. My name is Patty Hunter. Today my special guests are on Zoom. The first one is Tommy Nallie. He is a trail boss, lead and harmony vocals, and lead guitar. And also John Fullerton. He's a lead and harmony vocals, rhythm, guitar, band historian, or history. Both are from the Sons of the Pioneers.
Thank you for having us, Patty.
It's great to be with you.
I know. Anyways, I have been a fan of your beautiful band forever since I was a wee mutt. I was born in 52, so we listened to it at home. So the history of Sons of the Pioneers. We would like to know who founded it, how many people were there, or what year.
Well, when it got underway, it started in Los Angeles, and Roy Rogers was actually the real spark plug in getting it off the ground. Of course, he was not Roy at the time. He was still going by his birth name of Leonard Sly. He had been in and out of a few bands.
Mhm.
He was really striving to put together a vocal harmony trio, and he found Bob Nolan along with Tim Spencer. And they really got going in the fall of 1933, almost 90 years ago now. And they actually had, the opportunity to be at the right place at the right time. They went over and auditioned for the largest radio station in Los Angeles. It was Warner Brothers, KFWB. And KFWB had some big names. They had a guy there by the name of Bing Crosby and several other big performers, and that's kind of how they got their foot in the door, and they were able to launch their own daily radio show, and it caught on to the point that these programs turned into 3 and sometimes 4 programs a day. They were hour-long broadcasts.
Wow.
And what set them apart was their material was all fresh. It was original material that Bob and Tim had primarily written. Songs of the West, The Great Outdoors, The Working Cowboy, and they do it all in this beautiful 3-part harmony vocal blend that no one else had come up with. And also they yodeled in harmony, and there certainly was nobody else doing that in radio in Los Angeles. So that's where it all began. And by early 1934, they started getting the calls for a transcribed radio series that turned into motion picture opportunities, song publishing, and it just exploded from there.
Wow. And Tommy, your songs have made Western movies very popular.
Yes, ma'am.
Since you have introduced cowboy singers, so I guess more people come to watch your Westerns then.
Yes, we get all ages of people, Patty. we get a lot of people that remember us from the 40s and 50s, and believe it or not, they've exposed it to their kids and their grandkids. And the grandkids, we get a lot of 30 and 40-year-olds that come out and say that their mamas or their grandmamas exposed them to it, and they've always wanted to come hear the group. And we're getting more and more of that, actually. For a long time, it was just the older folks, but we're seeing a lot of younger people now.
Well, I'm an older folk myself, but I still love you guys.
That's okay.
Do you tour?
Oh, yes.
All the time.
Oh, yes.
You
As a
come
matter
to
of fact,
Fort
that's how
Wayne?
Pardon me?
Come
Oh,
to Fort Wayne.
well, we'd love to. We'd love to. You tell somebody else about us there. We'll sure come. We're going to be up in Ohio here. Well, it'll be next year.
Yeah, 2024.
Well, if you're getting closer to Indiana, I would love to
Mhm.
interview you guys again, eh?
Yeah.
So it's been 90 years, when? September, October?
Yeah,
No.
this fall going into January, it'll officially kick off in January of this coming year. January 24 will be where we begin our 90th year as the Sons of the Pioneers.
Wow. So what number are you guys in the
Well,
band?
it's been fun trying to keep count of that. I'm
You
the
have 47 people, I understand, throughout the years.
Yeah, I'm the 45th member in this amount of time, and I came on board on January the 15th of 2018 was the day Tommy called me.
2018? I thought you said
2018 for me.
1918.
So, yeah, I could have been there in 1918. I'm glad I wasn't, but yeah, 2018 for me, and
I think I'm number 25, I think.
Yeah.
And
You're a youngin', and
yeah,
you
I started 1983, and I was there for quite a few years. Then I had to leave for a few years. Then I came back, and so it's been a great ride. Loved it.
how'd you get involved with Sons of the Pioneers?
Yeah.
Did they
Well,
ask you?
I was my brother Luther was in the group for a lot of years, and I knew the guys. I used to go out and see them, and they used to drop. I was traveling with the group, and they used to come out and see me. And one time, I rode with Luther to Nashville, and they asked me to I was off that week, and they asked me to sit in and play, and I did. And before the week was over, they offered me a job, and so I said, I think I will. So, John, you can tell them how you got in.
I fortunately got to see the fellas in Branson, Missouri. They were performing about 2 miles from my house when I was a kid. And my grandmother worked at a local mom and pop shoe store in Branson that specialized in boot repair. Well, one of the pioneers dropped off a pair of boots one day to have them resold, and he introduced himself as one of the sons of the pioneers. And my grandmother went berserk. And next thing you know, she's got us tickets for one of their concerts. I literally got drugged to this concert that I did not want to even go to. And the curtain opens, and there's 6 cowboys dressed, and they look real. They were real. That's what blew me away. I mean, I'm 7 years old. I'm on the edge of my seat. They dove into this Bob Nolan number called When Payday Rolls Around, and I was just blown away with this tight trio harmony, the fact that they all played their own instruments, and it was just a very tight and unique sound. And they were still selling their long play albums at their concerts at that time in the middle 1980s, and the Cool Water album is still the best seller.
73?
In 85.
No, I'm talking about the long record album.
Oh yeah, the 33s. Yes, that's
33.
correct. Yeah, the 33s, the long play records. Yes, they were still selling those in 85. And so the Cool Water album was still available. They were still selling it. And I ended up picking up a copy of that. All the fellas signed it, and I tore the shrink wrap off of that when I got home. And I spent 6 months memorizing all 18 selections, just trying to figure out the lyrics. I didn't quite figure out, the harmony was so close, I couldn't tell where the melody was exactly on some of the recordings. So I spent years and years, building my collection. My mom signed me up for the Pioneer Fan Club when I was 10. And then when I was 16, one of the ladies running the fan club reached out to me to have me step in and help out behind the scenes, just to kind of give a young person's perspective. So I became a writer for the fan club publication that they were doing. And then one day, Tommy calls out of the blue, meet us in Yuma, Arizona. You're on stage with us. Here we go. So that was kind of what happened for me.
So you do your own writing, composing, etc.
Yeah, the pioneers have always had that talent as songwriters, but Bob Nolan, along with Tim Spencer, Tim's brother Glenn, wrote a lot of material. And then we had a real dear friend out of Douglas, Arizona, that worked as a park ranger, a fellow by the name of Stan Jones. He wrote Ghost Riders in the Sky and a jillion songs as well. So we did a lot of Stan's compositions. Stan was really something. It's like he would bring a song to us that was like 90% complete, and he'd be stuck on it, and the pioneers would help finish, writing the tune, and there it was, finished product.
So who does the composing, you or
we're mostly just playing the songs that have been written over the years. Through the years, there's been a few guys write songs, but I haven't written any, Patty. They're just too good. I don't want to mess them up,
Yeah. There's a certain standard that everybody expects, and so many of the folks and the fans especially just love those original songs that were movie songs, and most of these were written during the decade of the 30s all the way up into the 1950s. And there is such a bag of material. It's hundreds of quality songs, and that's what everyone expects from us. If we did something different, they would throw rocks at us.
That's what makes it hard to write a show, because so many good songs to pick from. We try to change them out just for our own sake, but they're all good songs and people recognize all of them. So
how many are there songs?
There's hundreds. Bob Nolan sat down one day with his publisher. This was 70 years ago. Bob and his publisher sat down and tried to count from memory what Bob had written, and Patty, they stopped counting when they got to 1,100.
Oh boy. So you got unlimited.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
Of course, we try to do the favorites that people recognize. Don't Fence Me In, Cool Water, Tumbling Tumbleweeds, and the ones that people recognize the most.
What are your favorites?
Oh, geez.
Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you what, people ask me that, and my only answer is
all of them.
The joy I see in people's faces when we play Tumbling Tumbleweeds.
Mhm.
They grin, they smile, they recognize it, and that's just so heartwarming that's probably, it's hard to beat, but I like them all. You're right.
Yeah, that's exactly the same with me. There's such an emotional element in a lot of this, because here we are playing for audiences, and we hear it all the time from the fans, well, my gosh, my aunt sang Tumbling Tumbleweeds to me when I was 3 to help me go to sleep at night, or Blue Shadows on the Trail. We can be standing on the stage when the lighting is right and see out, 5 rows deep, but
Mhm.
sometimes here's these people on the first few rows, and you get them all teared up, and then we get teared up, and boy, then you've got a train wreck going on. It can get emotional. Those songs are just so timeless. They do that to the audience and us too.
You never start crying when you're singing.
They cry when I sing. You believe it? No.
So tell me, Tommy, trail boss.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
How many trail bosses have there been?
Well, there's been 4.
Yeah.
I'm the 4th one. So Lloyd Perryman, Dale Warren, my brother Luther Nallie was there for quite a few years, and then I took over from him.
Mm.
And someday somebody else will have to grab it.
Happy trails to you.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
That's good.
what does a trail boss do?
Well, there's a lot of things in the operation that have to be done. And fortunately, I've got guys in the group that are, our fiddle player, Paul Elliott, was retired from Microsoft. Chuck Irvin, the bass player, is a journalist. Ken Lattimore, the tenor singer, and the other fiddle player, writes orchestra scores. John does everything else. John makes recordings for us, does a lot of the transcription work and stuff. I do everything else. I'm the one that deals with the agents and signs the contracts and that kind of stuff. More of the business work. There's a lot that goes on, and fortunately we've got guys that everybody does their job, and for a long time, you just got to do whatever's left over, but these guys really help out, so it's really good.
Yeah, it's a great team effort. It really is.
It has to be over the years. I mean, you're still strong, going strong. And may you continue for another 100 years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hope there's TV in another 100 years.
Yeah.
True.
So you have, over the years, going on 90 years next year, accumulated honors and awards, recognition. What have you?
Well, I'm going to have to read you the list because I can't remember all of them.
I got the list.
It's rather massive. Back in the late 60s, we were honored by the Academy of Country Music as the Vocal Group of the Year. In the early 70s, we were placed in the National Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City. We were winners of the Distinguished Wrangler Award, and actually we're the only cowboy band to be honored twice with Wrangler Awards. They honored the Pioneers again in 1995 there at Oklahoma City. Very wonderful folks at that organization. By the middle 70s, we ended up getting our star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then we ended up getting more awards through the Country Music Association. By 1980, we were in the Country Music Hall of Fame. In the late 80s, the Texas Swing Hall of Fame down in Fort Worth. And there's even been some recent things here just lately that's come around as well.
Like what?
Tumbling Tumbleweeds, Cool Water.
Yeah, Grammy Hall of Fame.
Grammy Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Cool Water and Tumbling Tumbleweeds have made it to Grammy Hall of Fame status as the top selling Western songs of all time.
And the Smithsonian.
And the Smithsonian designated us and named us national treasures.
Go ahead.
Wow. So what'd you do to get into the Smithsonian, kiddos?
They were doing a country music series, a concert series in the late 70s where they booked some major acts that had, kind of made a name for themselves and contributed a lot to what, is American country and Western music. So they selected the Pioneers, and they were actually honored by the invite, and they brought them into Washington, D.C. for a week of personal
Party.
appearances, and then Smithsonian brought him in for this concert. The standing
Yes.
ovation did not stop. It just kept going and going.
So you have a unique style of genre,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and you have changed the history of music here in the United States and across the world, I do imagine.
Yes, ma'am. It's
How many?
we do have fans all over the world. We play in Canada quite a bit. We
I'm
haven't.
from there, Toronto.
We're at Toronto. Okay.
Toronto, yeah.
We've played. I have it written down. We've played in we've done like 60 or 70 shows up there over the last few years.
Bob's back in 1962 in Calgary, Alberta. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've played the
Roy
Calgary Stampede a lot of
Stampede.
years.
Yeah. See, we had Bob Nolan. He was actually born in Winnipeg. So a lot of the folks in that region, that wonderful Canadian prairie country up there, the folks have a great appreciation for our music there.
Eventually, the family migrated he went through a couple of towns, but he ended up in Tucson, and that's where he wrote most of his songs in the desert there.
So we moved for several years, 10 or 11 years, to California.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been to Tucson and Arizona and all. That was beautiful country,
Mm-hmm. We just
You
played
guys-
out in Victorville, which is in the desert, but that's where Roy is from, or spent a lot of years at.
Any of his family still around? Roy?
Roy's son doesn't live very far from us. He was actually a member of our group for several years and just recently retired. But Roy's or Dusty's sisters are scattered about. Still one in California and one in Tennessee and one in Alabama, I believe. But just a wonderful family. And back in the old days, when the Pioneers backed Roy and Dale, they had all their kids on stage. It was always a big family get together when it was Roy, Dale, their family backed by the Pioneers. We were all very close.
I love your music. I've been a fan of you guys forever. My mom loved, what is that? Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Riders in the Sky, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She would sing that walking around the house, and I said, Mom, what are you saying? I said, it's a Western. And so we got to watch TV with Roy and Hopalong Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whole 9 years.
That's one of the songs that we have to play every show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was Gene Autry with you guys?
So we got to work with Gene. He never really worked with us that much, but in the middle 1930s, the Pioneers backed him up in 2 feature films, and actually Roy is in both of those, and that was before Roy had really hit Hollywood and had made a name for himself. So they were just billed as the Sons of the Pioneers, and they helped out with several selections. One of the movies was really hilarious. Roy and Gene actually got into a fist fight, and I mean they threw punches, and it's absolutely hilarious. The movie is called. Oh yeah, it's called The Old Corral, and it was released in 1936. And the Pioneers played some outlaws known as the O'Keefe Brothers, and it was just hilarious as all get out.
Do you do outside events, or do you stay indoors?
No, we do outside too.
Yeah,
we've had some big outdoor events.
Yeah, we have back in the earlier years when the fellows were playing rodeos and state fairs. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, in the height of the summer, it was very common to be doing a concert on a 95-degree day and just drenched in sweat and still wearing expensive custom tailored suits and the whole bit. We don't do as many of those, but we sure have though. We did a big outdoor one in Salt Lake City a few years ago with the Great American Wild West Show. And we were there at the arena at the state fairgrounds, and they brought out a herd of buffalo into the arena when we sang Ghost Riders in the Sky live, and it was an amazing effect. It really added a lot to it.
You come in riding one?
Not quite. No.
I like to thank you. What would you like to say to my audience?
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to say is that when the people come out and see us, they're going to see a great, clean show. I think the audience can tell when the entertainers are sincere, and we just really enjoy bringing the music. And I think they'll enjoy hearing it. They'll recognize the songs. They'll go away tapping their feet and smiling. It's a great experience. That's what I like. That's what I'd like them to know.
Yeah, we're really. I feel like we really dust everything off in the memory department, so to speak, and it's just it's such a timeless music that everybody remembers. It's such a familiar sound, and our sound has not changed. We've had great members in the band all these years, but the sound has always, those arrangements, the stacking of the voices has always remained the same, and we strive to keep that recognizable sound, and that's what folks will get when they see us live.
You guys are good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. Such a thrill to be back here on stage at Branson Country, USA. We'd like to do a song right now that we recorded a long time ago. It's been a Pioneer's favorite. Goes back to 1949. It sounds like this.
An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged sky and up a cloudy draw. Ghost riders in the sky. Their brands were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. Their horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Ghost riders in the sky. Yep. Looked on by him, he heard one call his name. If you want to save your soul from hell or riding or rain, then cowboy, change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch that devil's herd across these endless skies. Ghost riders in the sky.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every with us always and for the rest of our lives.